Kirby says, okay, I just painted a hood and a piece of plastic fell, so I have trash under the clear. Can I sand and repaint and reclear? Absolutely, you can. So I would let that dry, you know, for a couple of days. Make sure the paint is cured, make sure it's all dried up, and then go ahead, sand it down with 400 grit. You might have to block out, the part where a piece of plastic fell on it. Okay. You might have to glaze it. I don't know. It's hard for me to see what you're doing. But yeah, you can absolutely respray something a few days. Sometimes you're doing a customer job and you got to get something in and out. You could safely sand and paint freshly painted paint the next day, but it's good to at least wait a full 24 hours. So I would say, the second day after painting, no problem. Third day, even better. So, for instance, when I painted the van single stage, right, we did the white, and then I basically let it cure for 3 days before masking it up and painting the black single stage, because you want to make sure that paint is dry, because you're putting tape, you're masking it up, you got tape on it, you got fine line tape on it, blah blah blah. You want to make sure you don't peel, right? And really mess up your paint job. Kevin Y says, I'm doing a collision repair, front fender and bumper cover. Friend told me another friend said to use flex additive. I've never used it before. Any recommendations? You don't have to use a flex additive for regular bumper covers. It's not needed. But if you want to, you can. It's not going to hurt. Okay. I don't use it. Okay. Because paint is flexible out of the box. Any paint is flexible. If you paint something, okay, and you paint a piece of plastic and you bend it, it's going to flex. It won't crack easily. It only cracks if you're putting a real, deep gouge crease in it. Then it can crack. And if you're going to be denting a piece of plastic or a bumper cover that much anyway, the flex additive is going to crack anyway. So, you don't have to. If you want to, add it in there. I don't use flex additive. How do you take off plastic trim? How do you learn how to do it? Well, all cars all cars are different. YouTube could help. If you're looking to take off a door panel and you don't know how to do it, I would just YouTube it. BMW door panel removal. You might get some ideas, but once you learn how to take off door panels or trim in plastic, it's pretty much the same thing across a bunch of different brand cars. There's hidden clips here and there. Some of them are snaps. Sometimes the only way to remove them is just to pull on them and just hope you don't break the clips. Sometimes you break the clips, you got to go get some clips. So that's why it's good to get just a pack of automotive clips. You can get them on eBay. Trim clips. They sell like a variation. A whole mixed combo plate of clips, automotive trim clips that you can use to do things like that. Paint metal window trim. So basically, all you have to do is I would scuff it with 80 grit. Okay. And just like painting chrome on classic cars, you can scuff it with DA it down with 80 grit. Okay. Same with this type of aluminum trim here, this type of trim here, right? Chrome. Sand it down with 80 grit. You could put direct 2K filler primer on it, sand it and paint it. If you want to go an extra step, you could epoxy it, 2K filler prime, sand it out with 400 grit and paint it. Then you're golden. All right. It's pretty simple. How do you fix rock chips on black paint? So, you got the quick way to do it, and then you got the correct way to do it. So if you got rock chips all over the front of your bumper cover, you could just get some touch-up paint and just dab all those areas. Yeah, you're gonna, it's gonna look much better actually, because you're not gonna have these white looking chips, or whatever it looks like. Usually it looks like a whitish grayish chip on black paint. Right, you can just dab some paint on it, or you can pretty much sand your entire hood down, and basically fill up all those chips with some glaze putty, block it out, base the whole thing, and repaint it. How long after clear coat should I wait to sand in 60 to 70 degree weather? Why are you looking to sand it? Are you looking for color sanding and buffing, or are you going to repaint it? Like, what are you doing? And actually 60 to 70, I would give it a week. I would let it cure for a week. You know, if you're not in a rush, give it a good week. Have a paint scrape on single stage acrylic. How bad is this to spot in blend? Jack, I think you emailed me. Been getting a lot of emails lately. And I think you emailed me this question. Sorry, guys. I went to sleep really late and I got up really early. So I'm a little tired. Actually blending single stage is pretty tricky, okay? Unless you're blending on a small narrow section like a door pillar here, you know, where you're not working with too much. The wider the area, the more trickier. But say I wanted to blend, but what you wouldn't want to blend this, you just want to paint the whole thing. But just say, for instance, right, I wanted to blend in here. You would basically sand the whole thing down with about 12 to 1500. You can go to 1200, I would think, right? 12 to 1500, blend it in, and then you would have to sand it out again with 1500 and then just buff the whole thing. I've done buffing on single stage before. You could, you know, it comes out really nice if you buff it, and don't get freaked out once your buffing pad starts changing color, you know, because it's single stage, right? You got no clear coat over it. So that's normal. But if you could paint the entire panel, it's probably going to be your best bet. So if you're working on a door or a fender, just paint the whole panel, you know, instead of blending. Try to avoid blending. Single stage blending is a little trickier than base coat, clear coat. That's the only thing. But, you know, if you don't mind spending some time color sanding and buffing, you could pretty much get it down. Lowe's no longer sells your compressor. Any recommendations on a similar one, inexpensive two-stager, same size? Man, I would just say just check Home Depot. If Lowe's don't have it, check Home Depot. This is the Cobalt. It's a good compressor, man. It's really, it does what it has to do. If you're in the mainland, bro, there's a lot of compressors that you can get. Check aircompressorsdirect.com. That's where I got my other air compressor in Dallas. So yeah, no sanding. You could, I don't recommend it, you know, because adhesion promoter is like a tack coat. I would definitely recommend sanding with 400 grit, you know, just at least scuff it up with a 3M pad or 400 grit. Okay, then put your adhesion promoter on. We did that exact, and we did a lot of cool stuff. So we also did adhesion promoter, kind of like an example on the mirrors of the Good Van project. And we did it to where we didn't fill the texture in the plastic. And we painted it, we cleared it, and we didn't clear it. We painted it with single stage, and you can see the orange peel or the paint texture pop up. And you could, I just left it. You know, I was going to redo it, but I'm like, yeah, let's just leave it. I don't care. It's not a show van. But in that VIP course, you're going to be able to see what it looks like when you don't fill textured plastic with 2K and you just paint over it. That's what it looks like. Okay. We could have avoided that by filling with 2K filler primer, sanding it flat. Okay. Getting it ultra smooth and then painting it. It would look like, you know, the new car mirrors, you know, not with the raw plastic look. Primed only hood. What do you mean by that? So you primed it and the rust came back? Like, what do you mean by that? How do you remove rust from primed only hood? And just sand it off again. So if you have rust, surface rust or rust coming, you got to sand it off. You have to get rid of the rust. Okay, so number one, get rid of the rust if you see any rust. If it's a lot of it, you can treat it with vinegar water or a navel jelly. Okay, they have navel jelly rush treatments. And then you're going to want to make sure you wash the treatment off again after with water, and then scuff it up with 80 grit. And then you can fill it with an epoxy primer, or you can just put a direct to metal 2K filler primer on top of that. That's how you seal it up, and then you paint it. My body kit's looking to add a wide body kit on my car. Not at the moment, not at the moment right now. Maybe in the future when we get another fun car build, I will. But I think you are VIP, Roland. We have a lot of videos on the BMW M3 project and the Miata project. That's pretty much enough VIP content to get you started with modifying and installing body kits. Like, it's A to Z. So if you haven't checked those video out, check the Miata project, the candy paint job that we put Lamborghini doors on, and we did like full custom body kit on it. Actually, there's two Miata projects: the green one that I did in Texas, the red one that I did in Hawaii, and the BMW that I did. So there's 3 body kit projects in VIP A to Z. So I would just kind of revisit those. They might be old, but it's still the same stuff, still the same, foundational principles and steps. But as of now, I don't have any body kit things planned. I mean, the next thing we're gonna paint, if I paint anytime soon, is gonna be, we'll probably start working on the Chevelle or doing something custom on my wife's Tesla. So yeah. Other than that, it's all about me getting the content that I created over the past 6 months out, because we did a lot of painting on some projects around here and we didn't get all the content out on YouTube yet, or in VIP. So that's what I'm working on over the next month. Will using metallic flake mixed in with first coat of clear help hide blotchy areas or tiger strips in a metallic paint job? It depends. You could try it to try to hide it. You could try it. But if you're going to be doing clear coat and metallic flakes, why don't you just sand it down and just put a new paint job on it? If you're going to be putting clear on, trying to fix up a crappy paint job, hiding it with metallic flake, why don't you just pick up 2 quarts of base coat, which will give you a gallon of sprayable, rebase the damn thing, and then clear it? That's what I would do. If you're trying to fix a crappy paint job or a blotchy paint job by kind of putting a Band-Aid on it by mixing flake and clear, you're going through the same process. You might as well just put new base on it and then do it. My bro really likes Tamco paint. Hey, if it's good stuff for you guys, then use it. There's tons of brands out there. Right now, I'm in Hawaii and I don't get Tamco. I get the Sherman-Williams Acme, and this is really good clear coat. I've been very happy with this. Under $100 a kit for a 1-gallon kit, and I love it. What's a good paint gun for cheap? If you're looking for a starter spray gun, I would highly recommend the Atom X20. It's a good DIY starter spray gun. Here, I'll send you the link. Where are we at? I'll just post the link right here. Check that link out. And it also comes with the GUNBUDD ultra lighting system, which I love because it lights up everything. You can see so clearly while you're painting. And it's really, really, really amazing. Repair a hack job with cracked filler, cut and weld. Yeah, you can cut and weld, or you can just grind it all out. It might not be a hole. It might just be a deep damage area filled in with a body filler. You might just have to grind it, do better panel beating, and then put a light skin of Bondo on it, a light skin of body filler on it, rather than having, a 1-inch thick piece of Yep, you got it, Robert. My wife. What grit would you use to scuff the single stage fender before I repaint it? You could use 400, Jack. Yeah, finer the better. I mean, you don't want to go too fine, but 400 is literally the perfect sand scratch grit to paint base coat, clear coat, or single stage over. It's like perfect. You could actually go rougher, coarser. You can go like a 380, a 360 if you're doing single stage, because single stage is really thick and it fills. But why not just go 400? Like I literally I went to a 320, then a 360 on the van, something like that, 380. I don't know. I don't remember. Whatever three somethings I had as far as sandpaper, and then I finished off with 400. That's why it laid on so nice. Moving them to paint very carefully. But what I like to do is you just mask over the whole letters and then you cut them out with a X-Acto knife or a razor blade. If you don't want to risk that, then I would just say sand up, like remove them, peel them off, sand them off, whatever you got to do, get them off, use an eraser wheel, and then just order new decals, do your base coat, put the decal on, and then clear over it. Or you could just put the decals over the clear coat. It depends what you want to do. Some people, some manufacturers, automotive, the decals are inside the clear coat. Some of them are outside. So however you want to do it. Okay, so we got another question here. My car is two-tone. How long between base coat and clear coat? I would like to clear both colors at the same time. My car is two-tone. How long between base coat and clear coat? I mean, dude, we cover that in our videos. It's pretty, when you're painting a car, by the time you go around, you're ready to go to your next coat. So it's like 20, 30 minutes. And then if you're doing clear coat, after your final spray of base coat, you wait 30 minutes, give or take, and you're ready for clear coat. Okay. Takes about 20 minutes to go around the car if you're doing a complete paint job. Around 20 minutes to go around one time, full. All right, guys, have a good week. It's only Monday. Talk to you guys.